recover loud. I recover loud. I recover loud. I recover loud. Let's go. I'm on a journey to discover the truth. Living life in recovery is lovely. You got the power in you. Surround yourself with positive energy. Judges hitting people with provocative penalties. Need to make a change. Advocate to change the laws. Prove to people that it's not insane. When you stand behind a cause, I'm here to speak about the pain. Recover loud to normalize the disease that's been killing all my friends and my family. The time is now to let it all go and recover loud. The benefit is healthy people, family and friends that never have to overdose ever again, never have to plead out to a lesser offense. I'm proud to say that I recover loud. I never thought I could, but I'm so proud that I discovered how to live my life again, controlling my own destiny. I needed recovery, I still need it desperately. Addiction never defined my identity. I recover loud, here to tell my own story. I recover proud, save a life of like 40. I recover loud, yeah, I recover loud. I recover loud, yeah, I recover loud. I recover loud, here to tell my own story. I recover proud, save a life of like 40. I recover loud, yeah, I recover loud. I recover loud, yeah, I recover loud. I recover loud. I recover loud. I recover loud. I recover loud.
Today is National Overdose Awareness Day. One of a parent's greatest fears is that they find out that their child has overdosed and died. Today I have the honor of speaking to a mother who lost her son in 2017. Let's listen to her story.
Good morning, I'm Lisa Betancourt and I recover loud.
Welcome back to another episode of Recover Loud. Today I get to sit with Lisa Betancourt, who lost her son in 2017 to a drug-related overdose. Lisa, welcome to the show. Thank you for sharing your story and your son's story. Can you just tell us a little bit about your son and how it was for him growing up?
Andrew was, from the get-go, he was like this little wild, bouncy thing. He just never stopped. He was a great kid. We had our struggles growing up through the years. But he, like, when you were his friend, you were his family, and he had a huge family. And when Andrew moved in with us in December of 2016, he stayed with us until he moved into his own place. And that he was with us for 5 months, and that was the best 5 months of my life, his life. We sat down and we did arts and crafts, we did family movie night, we did cooking, we did fun stuff. And he was in recovery at that time. He was trying to recover, so it was like we had our battles.
So you were supportive, but you held boundaries.
Yes, you have to hold those boundaries.
Can you talk about the boundaries that you had with him once you knew that he was using? How did you set those up, and how did you keep them?
Very hard, because he would become very verbally aggressive, and just he would try to get whatever he wanted. You know, there's a couple times that he came into the house and took things in the shed, not in the house. He took stuff that was his, but we bought it, and then he would take and sell it and whatnot. So we told him, but if you're going to do that, you can't come here. I didn't not trust him in my house, but the outside where he had his toys and stuff.
Yeah, I imagine that that behavior was different than it was when he was growing up. We become master manipulators during our addictions, and we hurt people, that we care about, and we really don't intend to. As I was mentioning to you earlier, I don't have experience with losing a child, but I've been that child. So I do appreciate your perspective on these questions, and I hope that the viewers will get a better understanding of what it's like to raise a child with substance use disorder. If we could back up
Sure.
At what age, or maybe what year was it that you found out that Andrew was using?
In 2013, he was using prior to 2013, but in 2013, my mom was in a nursing home in Van Buren, and I said, hey, bud, let's go up and see Nanny, and I'll take you with me because you haven't seen her yet. So he said, yeah. So I went to go pick him up. Gets in the car, and he looks at me, and he was honest with me. And I have to just say, he always called me Mommy. I always says Mommy because I was Mommy. So he said, Mommy, it's like, I have to tell you something. He's like, I think I need help. And I'm like, well, what do you need for help? He's like, I think I need recovery. And I'm like, what are you doing? I know that you're smoking pot. He's like, no, it's worse than that. So me, being blindsided, I had no idea what to do. I drove around where he lived. I drove around the block. I pulled back in front of his apartment, and I said, you need to get out of the car. He's like, why? Aren't I going to see Nanny? I said, no. I said, I need to figure out what I need to do to help you. And I dropped him off, and then he was very upset. I heard him that day. And he actually wrote in I found a Facebook post that he wrote about how he went home and cried because he didn't want to hurt me or his family. So he was living with his dad, so it was, he was a daddy's boy too. So,
And I'm sure just learning that was painful for you, and not knowing what to do in that moment was painful.
absolutely.
So, what was it you did after that to try to help him?
So when I dropped him off, I went and I made phone calls. I called I called doctors' offices. I called agencies. I'm like, I need help for my child. And at that point, he was sort of struggling even more. And he ended up in Acadia. We had 3 different evaluations in 2 days. Sorry. And by the last time when he came out holding a knife to us, the police came and brought him to the hospital. And they brought him to Acadia, and he was withdrawing in Acadia one-on-one in an isolation pod. And we weren't allowed to go see him because he was not stable at that time.
Yeah. And did you say that was 2013?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've learned a lot since then.
Absolutely.
Back then, I don't know if anybody even carried Narcan. So it was a different world than it is today. Even in 2018 when I decided to get help in Caribou, I had nowhere to turn. I didn't know where to turn. There were resources, just nobody had ever told me where they were. And that's the purpose of Recovering Loud is so that people know that recovery is possible and there are ways to do it. And it is a shame that before this movement started, we've lost some good people.
Many.
So Andrew died on April 1st, 2017.
I'll never forget what I was doing, what I was wearing, whatever. 9 o'clock, I'm like, maybe I should call Andrew. And I didn't. It just slipped my mind. I'm like, I get busy, just carrying on doing a mom life. And then at, I want to say 11 o'clock, I get, my phone rings and it's Andrew. It says Andrew's new number. And I pick it up and I'm like, hey, bud. And it was his friend. It's like, Lisa, I think you need to come quick. I think Andrew overdosed. I had just put the cinnamon roll dough on the table. And like when he said that, I hit the floor. I fell to the floor. Bailey came running. I'm screaming, call 911. Call 911. Somebody get there quick. I'm shaking just thinking about that day. And I was screaming, get him help, somebody just help him. That was the worst day of my life. The longest ride from Fort Fairfield to Limestone because he had just moved into his own apartment. And he had been clean. So it was just...
You had said that Andrew was in recovery at the time.
He was.
How long had he been in recovery at that point?
He started October of 2016. He ended up going to TAMIC. And I had received phone calls because he was living on his own at the time, and I had received phone calls multiple times. Lisa, you need to come quick. Got to meet Andrew at the hospital. Something's going on. Oh, excuse me. And then finally, one doctor at Tamik listened, and they gave him a cocktail, a detox cocktail. So he slept for 3 days. And after that, in October, he was still at his house. He moved in with us in December, and then he was well. He had to go to the doctors every 2 weeks because he had ended up with hepatitis. So, he went every 2 weeks and everything was going well. And
one thing I preach is that, it is important to celebrate our little victories. No matter what it is, if we've done something and it's noticeable to us in the moment, it's important for us to recognize that is growth, that is part of the process. And, I encourage people to be proud. If you're able to say no to anything today, be proud of that. Because it's a big step. Might not happen all day long, but that one time makes a difference. So Lisa, after the overdose, what was it like for you?
So, the first day, actually the first 3 days, were absolutely terrible. Because Andrew died with his phone in his hand. I'm gonna cry. All I could think was he was trying to call me for help. I was just thinking, he needed me, and he would have called me. So I was devastated. I cried. I sobbed. I didn't sleep for days. I had people in and out talking to me. When you get that news and when you live this life and when the nightmare begins, you sit and think, how am I going to get through this? The only way, by the third day, my oldest daughter, who lives in Virginia, is coming home. And she has a friend who I believe communicates with people who passed.
Okay.
So, and this is just, I needed to hear this because I was completely devastated. All I was thinking, he was he was calling me, I need help, Mama, come quick. And so Chelsea called me right before she got on the plane on Monday morning and said, Mom, she's like, Renee called me. I said, okay. And she told me, Renee wanted me to let you know that Andrew was okay. She said somebody needed somebody named Benny. Somebody came to her and said, came with two other young men who had passed. They were there they needed to let me know that Andrew was okay. And I'm like, I don't know anybody named Ben. And I'm like, Penny. My friend Penny, who had passed. And ironically, I would get phone calls. Randomly, I'd get phone calls from Penny's number. And Andrew loved Penny. And it was her way of saying something is going to happen. But anyway, this is just right off topic. But it wasn't, because it made me feel better, because Penny came through and said that Andrew didn't feel anything. His body went through a lot, but it was like he was sleeping. So that was like
comforting.
Yeah, I knew that he had just gone to sleep. So that just, but that nightmare, like that was the beginning of the nightmare. Then you have to make a decision on what funeral home you're going to go to, and are you going to have your child cremated or buried, and who's going to speak, and what songs are you going to play, and what pictures, all those things that you don't expect, or calling people, or his dad was in Hawaii, And I remember still being at the his apartment, and I can remember his father calling me. I had like 15 phone calls, one right after another, and he's saying to me, "Where's my boy? Let me talk to my boy." And I'm like, "I'm sorry you didn't make it." And then Eddie just hung up on me, and then I can remember seeing his friends coming in and out of the apartment or coming to the apartment complex and just like hitting the ground. You know, I was just here at 9:30. I just talked to him at 9:30. So it's just, and then from then it's been rough. It's a nightmare. It's a never-ending nightmare.
So in the early days, how did you find comfort? I mean, how did your recovery begin?
I felt sorry for myself. I felt angry for a little bit. The waves of grief.
Yes.
The waves of grief still happen every day. Yesterday there was a post on Andrew's memorial page of some young man, and I shared it, and they talked about going out, sitting behind the hill in the backyard and whatnot. And so that's another wave. It's just, it comes out of randomly.
Yeah.
So it's different. It's hard. So.
Now, have you been able to find any outside support? Are you part of any support groups?
Well, I have quite a few online. There's quite a few different groups online. So the support group, I'm in many different support groups. This one is called Team Sharing, and it's for the United States. But this one is specifically for the state of Maine. And it has quite a few people that I know.
So you mentioned in these support groups, there are some local people that you know.
Yes.
Who have lost. Can you guess how many other parents that you know from the county have lost a child? Just that you know.
That I know? Probably 10.
Yeah.
10, if not more. And the sad part about it is when a child was lost, it's like reliving your loss.
Yeah.
The wounds are just opened up and ridiculous.
So have you found, the support of other moms has helped you, and have you been able to support other moms?
I would say I feel like I've been able to support or give guidance to other people who still have children who are in active recovery. And I don't want anybody ever to be me. I don't want anybody to live this nightmare that I live, because it's undescribable. I can't even tell you the pain. I can't explain it. Like, it's the worst thing that, like, breaking my leg is nothing.
Yeah, we always say that, one of the worst things that we could experience is losing our child. And when it comes from a disease like substance use disorder, there's a lot of pain before the overdose.
Yes.
And then when the person is lost, there's no healing from the pain that was caused previously. So you live the rest of your life still feeling that. So thankfully I don't know. And honestly, knowing 10 people in the county who have lost their child to an overdose, we don't expect it around here.
No.
People don't talk about it around here. It's like it doesn't happen in our neighborhood, and it can happen to anyone. You mentioned one time before when we were talking that you felt some blame when he passed. Have you forgiven yourself for any of that?
I will never forgive myself. As a mom, we do so much for our children and stuff like that, but you always think you can do more. I feel like I've taken on the responsibility of, I don't know, it's just such a heavy weight. I don't know if I can.
Well, I think it's important for us all to remember, we can't do for others, what we want for them. They have to do things for themselves. As a parent, I've experienced, pain that my children have gone through. And, the experiences they had, I wish they hadn't had. But I don't think I could have protected them from everything.
My poor kids now. Oh my goodness. I'm like, I was protective, but I'm like 10 times more. Where are you? What are you doing? Even she's in college, or Riley is in the next town over. She's gonna have another baby. So I'm like, I'm that mom, and I have my 2 younger ones. This is what you can't do. This is what because I've talked to people. I've reached out to people. I'm curious. How did you become addicted, and what led to this? One young man said, I was in college. I was I got a scholarship. And he said, I was in the lacrosse house, and there was just one person. And I'm like, and he was he's like, and I said, so? He's like, yeah, he was a partier. And he kept on offering things, and he said, no, I'm not going to do it. And he said, well, the peer pressure. And he tried it once. He said, no, I'm fine. I'm going to be all right. And then a little bit later, he tried it again, and then he said, 10 years later, here I am.
Yeah, and that's how it goes. Sometimes we're willing to try it that one time.
Yeah.
We're not willing to give up our lives for it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's what gets taken from us.
Yeah.
I believe you've gone out, you've shared your story with other people.
I have.
You've made it a point to try to help when you can. Why do you do that?
I don't want anybody to be me. I'm hoping that hearing Andrew's story, hearing my story, hearing our family story of what life is now that he's gone, and the never-ending nightmare and such pain and such loss, would maybe just say, okay, Lisa does this. And I know a lot of people, and Andrew knew a lot of people, so I think people need to hear his story.
And I appreciate you sharing your story. And I think a lot of people need to hear what it's like for a mom. So I appreciate you doing what you're doing. Is there any one last message you'd like to give to either parents who are struggling today while their kids are using, or somebody who happens to be using today?
I believe what we need to do, and the county, is we need to educate. Stop the stigma.
Absolutely.
We need to stop this stigma because people think that it cannot happen to them. We have doctors, we have lawyers, we have teachers, we have low income, high income. Addiction doesn't discriminate. We need to help everybody involved. We need to be able to get into the schools. I've tried to get into schools. Only certain people can get into the schools. And that's not okay. Because addiction doesn't start at 21. It can start at any age. And I wanted to just say this. I felt like when Andrew overdosed and stuff like that, and I met the recovery community, very welcoming, wonderful people, just wonderful to be involved in that community and being able to speak at events and whatnot.
I want to thank you for sharing your story. I will not forget Andrew Mallett's story, or yours. And hopefully that, somebody will hear this today and really get the idea that recovery is possible, and there's reasons for it. We all have moms, There's one thing that we all have, we all share, and I know the pain that I caused my mom was not something I wanted for her, and thankfully she was able to live her life with me. So
and that's nice. That's nice to have, because I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of the people in the community that are recovering, because Andrew wasn't able to recover, but you are, and
for today,
I know it's that just hit me hard too.
And it's important. I always have it in my head, that I am, one bad decision away. From being there, and everything I do today is to make sure that I'm not.
Yes.
And helping other people, has become my goal, my purpose. So, thanks again, Lisa.
Oh my goodness. That for today really got me.
Anderson's Auto Repair, locally owned and operated in New Sweden, Maine, specializes in all make, all model vehicle diagnosis and repair. Each individual service is backed by our nationwide TechNet 2-year, 24,000-mile warranty. Call or stop in to schedule an appointment today. Anderson's Auto, for wherever the road takes you.
Recover loud. Let's go. I'm on a journey to discover the truth. Living life in recovery is lovely. You got the power in you. Surround yourself with positive energy. Judges hitting people with provocative penalties. Need to make a change. Advocate to change the laws. Prove to people that it's not insane. When you stand behind a cause, I'm here to speak about the pain. Recover loud to normalize the disease that's been killing all my friends and my family. The time is now to let it all go and recover loud. The benefit is healthy people, family and friends that never have to overdose ever again, never have to plead out to a lesser offense. I'm proud to say that I recover loud. I never thought I could, but I'm so proud that I discovered how to live my life again, controlling my own destiny. I needed recovery, I still need it desperately. Addiction never defined my identity. I recover loud, here to tell my own story. I recover proud, save a life of like 40. I recover loud, yeah, I recover loud. I recover loud, yeah, I recover loud. I recover loud, here to tell my own story. I recover proud, save a life of like 40. I recover loud, yeah, I recover loud. I recover loud, yeah, I recover loud. 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 I recover loud.